What's up guys, the Wuthering Waves 2.7 update is here, which means we can finally pull for Galbrena. If you're a fan of Devil May Cry and characters like Dante, Virgil, and Nero, you're not only gonna appreciate her personality, but her kit as well. She's pretty niche in the fact that part of her kit actually deals echo skill damage, but don't let that deter you from pulling her. She's one of the easiest and more straightforward DPS characters to learn and has multiple ways to buff herself. So if you've been looking for a guide on Galbrena, I got you. I'm going to be covering everything you need to know, down to materials, skill priority, kit breakdown, damage rotation, your weapon options, what echoes and stats to look for, best teams to use her on, and more. We have a lot to cover, so let's not waste any time and dive right into it. For Galbrena's combat roles, she falls under a main damage dealer with dealing higher heavy attack damage. And here are all the materials you're going to need to get her up to max level. For the title resident material, it can drop from humanoid type echoes around Reina Sita. Again, a lot of these knights can drop it, but there are quite a few echoes that can drop this material, so it is readily available. For the flower, we're looking for Stone Rose, which can be found using collection spots, and again, it's mainly around the Sanguis Plateau area, so keep that in mind. Or you can buy some at the Silver Helmet store every week in Septimont. For our Overlord boss, you're going to have to fight the False Sovereign for the Blighted Crown of the Puppet King, and again, you're going to need 46 of these. For what skills prioritize upgrading first on Galbrena, definitely your Forte Circuit, then Liberation, Normal Attack, Resonant Skill, and then lastly, Intro Skill. And here are the materials you're going to need to level up all of these skills. Since Galbrena uses pistols, you're going to need the Phlogiston material, which you can get from forgery challenges. Specifically, I would do the one called Abyss of Confession in the 2.0 area because it will also give you the title resident material you're going to need. And for your weekly Calamity boss, we have a new one called the Cinderite Apocalypse, which is in the bottom left here of the Sanguis Plateaus. And you're going to need 26 of Curse of the Abyss. Now for me, I didn't use my weekly boss attempts until the update came out, so I was able to get a bunch of these right off the bat to upgrade some of my skills. So if you already did your 3 weekly boss attempts this week, you're SOL, unfortunately, but there is a weekly challenge supply pack 2 that you can buy in the shop for $20. It does give you some astrite and whatnot. Not advocating for you to buy this, and I do find it kind of scummy and predatory that they're tying you to maxing out Galbrena day 1 to a supply pack. I don't like that, but if you're like me and you want to max her out day 1, you can buy this. And it also does offer the old materials that you can get as well too. So again, don't feel pressured to buy it. I just want to point out that I don't like how this is. If you want to hear about what changes I would like to come to Wuthering Waves, I have a whole other video talking about how they could change the weekly boss rotation to basically help us build out our characters better. Again, that's for a whole nother video. Let's keep focusing on Galbrena. To maximize Galbrena's damage, we need to understand exactly how her kit works. Galbrena has 2 parts to her Forte bar, the left red side, which is Afterflame, and the blue right side, which is Sinflame. All you have to do to build Sinflame is just use her attacks. It's that simple. She has a basic attack 4 and a heavy attack 3, which both switch between heavy attack and echo skill damage. She does have a mid-air plunge attack, but what's cool is that if you're in the air and you hold that basic attack button, she actually spins with the pistols, shooting them like Bayonetta, which is pretty cool. You can also use her regular resonance skill, which will also push you in the air, and you can follow up into that mid-air attack again. After any attack, you can press your dodge button to perform what's called Hell Stride, which deals a fixed amount of fusion damage considered basic attack damage. This can also trigger a successful dodge and lead into a dodge counter, which is considered heavy attack damage. It can't be cast consecutively, but as long as you attack and then press your dodge, you can pretty much use it indefinitely. Now coming back to the Forte bar, let's talk about how to get Afterflame. Essentially, when resonators in the team cast an echo skill, it will start filling up this bar, and essentially after you use 5 echo skills, it will fill it up all the way. Now unfortunately, echoes with the same name can only trigger this effect once, so you can't use 2 of the same echo type or skill to be able to build this up. So using characters like Frolova or Cantarella right now would be good, or when Chi-Wan comes out, he's supposed to be her best in slot option, so I assume he's going to be able to fill up Afterflame very easily. The reason why Afterflame is important is because when we use her Forte Circuit attack, Demon Hypostasis, which I will cover here in a second, this will give your upgraded attacks an extra damage boost up to 60%. So if you only use 1 echo skill or an attack that counts as an echo skill, it will only give you a 12% boost at 1 stack. So again, it is important to use your echo skills to have this increased damage. Now entering Demon Hypostasis is quite easy. Once your Sinflame is maxed out, your resonance skill is replaced with what's called Ascent of Malice. The attack is considered heavy attack damage, and it converts your Forte bar and your Sinflame into what's called Purging Flame. As you can see, now it's this purplish color. When you're in this state, all of your attacks are enhanced. They deal more damage and they have some extra animation. So you can still use the basic attack 4, your heavy attack, mid-air attack, resonance skill, and the Hellstride with dodge counter. I also want to point out she has a buff called Burning Drive, so whenever you use your intro skill, the Hellstride dodge, your enhanced basic attack 4, or any of your resonance skills, it increases Galbrena's resistance to interruptions and attack by 20% for 4 seconds. So as long as you can keep up these attacks, it's pretty much a permanent 20% attack increase. Moving on to our Resonance Liberation, Hellfire Absolution. Again, you'll attack the target after the animation, deal fusion damage considered echo skill damage. Also take note that you gain an 85% damage multiplier for 14 seconds for any of those attacks that you use while you're in Demon Hypostasis. So right before or after you use that enhanced resonance skill, Ascent of Malice, to go into Demon Hypostasis, you want to make sure you use your Resonance Liberation first to get the damage bonus. If you're a fan of the stylish rank from Devil May Cry, you're going to like her first inherent skill, Oathbound Hunt. One stack of Fated End is inflicted on the target when you use pretty much any one of her skills, and it can stack up to 4 times. Each stack amplifies the damage directly dealt by Galbrena's pretty much all of her attacks, including her outro skill, by 5%, which means you can get a 20% damage bonus on a target essentially for 5.5 seconds, and it can be refreshed. So as long as you hit the target with 4 different skills, you can get a free damage bonus. And her second inherent skill, Sin Feaster, her regular and enhanced versions of her basic and heavy attack recover 10 points of stamina. Her intro skill, Hellfire Overload, isn't anything crazy. It basically allows you to follow up into a couple different attacks. Her outro skill, Ashen Pursuit, attack the target, dealing fusion damage equal to a massive percentage of Galbrena's attack. So her outro skill can deal some good damage. And for her left and right stat column bonuses, we have a crit damage percentage increase and an attack percentage increase. Once you start practicing with her, her kit is really easy to pick up, but if you're still a little confused about what I talked about during the kit, let me break it down into a simple damage rotation. First up, if Galbrena's already on the field, you can attack with her just to build up some Sinflame, but the main thing is using your healer, using their skills and their echo skill. Again, that builds a flame for Galbrena, and then going into your sub DPS, doing the same thing there, using their skills, their echo skill, you know, building up a flame for Galbrena, and then giving Galbrena whatever buffs they have so she can use her intro skill. After the intro, we still need to build up Sinflame up to max, but if you want to get another stack of Afterflame, just use Galbrena's echo skill right afterwards. And again, to build up Sinflame, all you have to do is use her basic attack 4, heavy attack 3, her mid-air attacks, and her regular resonance skill, and all those attacks will build up Sinflame. Once Sinflame is full, you'll see her resonance skill change over and start glowing. Now we can use the enhanced resonance skill, Ascent of Malice, and enter Demon Hypostasis. Once you see the Forte bar change from the red and blue over to the purple, you know you're in Demon Hypostasis, and right after, use your Resonance Liberation. Again, it itself will do some decent damage, but the main thing is getting that 85% damage multiplier for all the attacks you use while you're in Demon Hypostasis. And it's pretty easy to consume the Purging Flame on her Forte bar. Again, just use your basic attack, your heavy attack, your resonance skill, your mid-air attack, even the Hellstride attack. And remember, every time you use those skills, not only are you re-proccing Burning Drive for the 20% attack bonus, but every different type of attack you use on a target, it stacks Fated End, which allows you to do an extra 20% damage to that target. Once you use up all the Purging Flame, your Forte bar should reset back to normal, and by that time, your Concerto should be full, and you can use your outro skill. If your concern was you need to do something very specific to get the echo skills in to max out Afterflame, in reality, Galbrena's rotation is the same as every other team. The only thing to take note of is that whenever you're on your healer or sub DPS character, just make sure you use the echo skill at some point to give Galbrena that extra damage bonus. For Galbrena's weapon options, her signature Luxon Umbra is specifically catered to her and is pretty good. You get a flat attack and crit damage percentage bonus, and with this perk, 2 fire she returns. At rank 1, you get an attack percentage increase of 12%. Upon dealing echo skill damage, you gain a 24% heavy damage amplification for 6 seconds. And when you deal heavy attack damage, it does the same thing for your echo skill. Amplification of each attack is capped at 24%, while both effects are active. Dealing damage ignores 8% of the target's defense. With all of her skills switching between heavy and echo skill damage, getting the benefit of this pistol is very easy. For your other 5 stars, the only 2 options you'd have would be Carlotta's signature, The Last Dance, or the standard 5-star Static Mist. The main thing here is not even the benefit from the perk, because it's not really going to help Galbrena at all, but it's mainly to get the crit damage from The Last Dance and the crit rate bonus from Static Mist, just to help out with your stats. But if you're looking at some 4-star pistols, the Battle Pass one, Solar Flame, is really good for Galbrena. You get a flat attack and crit rate percentage bump with this perk, Oath of Tidehunters. As long as you deal basic or heavy attack damage, it increases your attack and heavy attack damage by a percentage for 7 seconds, stacking up to 4 times. 2 other 4-star options you can use would be Relativistic Jet or Nova Burst. For Galbrena's best echo set, you're going to want the new 3-piece Flamewing Shadow with either 2-piece Flaming Claw Print or Molten Rift. Flamewing Shadow can be found on the new Threnodian weekly boss echo, also some echoes that can be found in the real world, but the main way is going to be from the new Nightmare Tacet Field here in 3 Heroes Crest. The reason you want 3-piece Flamewing Shadow is because whenever you deal echo skill damage or heavy attack damage, it gives a 20% crit rate for the opposite skill, which means your heavy attack and echo skills can get that 20% crit rate for 6 seconds. While both effects are active, you gain a 16% fusion damage bonus, and this is very easy to accomplish with Galbrena's kit. You still want to set her up with 1 4 cost, 2 3 cost, and 2 1 cost echoes, with your main echo actually being the 3 cost Chorosaurus. For your 4 cost, it doesn't matter whether it's the Linus of Glory or the new Remnants Threnodian, as long as you have 3 Flamewing Shadow and 2 of the other fusion set, you'll be fine, but essentially you want crit rate or crit damage. And for your other 3 costs, you want fusion damage bonus, and for your 2 1 cost, you want attack percentage. The reason you want Chorosaurus in the main slot is because it gives a 12% fusion damage bonus and 20% echo skill damage bonus, which is going to be great for Galbrena. For our echo substats, we're looking for crit rate and crit damage, heavy attack damage bonus, some energy regen, and any attack we can get. Now, my stats aren't perfect, but overall, as long as you have over 2k attack, you should be good. 2100 or higher is going to be better. For energy regen, anywhere between 100 and 120 is totally fine. You don't really need to go over 120. For your crit rate, max would be 80%, because remember, your heavy and echo skill damage attacks get an extra 20%. So as long as you have anywhere between like 60 to 80, I think that's a good spot. And then anywhere over 250 crit damage is going to be great. And again, any heavy attack substats you can get is obviously going to buff her kit. For Galbrena's best team options, unfortunately, she doesn't have a really good free-to-play team, but if you can get your hands on more Teffy and then have your healer be either Baija or Verena, that team will work, considering Mortefi will buff the heavy attack damage of Galbrena and have the coordinated attacks. For her premium team, we're missing one guy. We have Galbrena and Shorekeeper. We don't have Chi-Wan just yet. He comes out in the second half of this update. He's supposed to have multiple attacks that are considered echo skill damage, which will build Galbrena as a flame, and also his ultra skill is supposed to boost her echo skill damage. So again, we can't use the premium team just yet, but we do have some other options. You can still use Mortefi in here. That's not a problem, but if you have Yuno from last update, that will work as well. Yuno is the strongest sub DPS at the moment. The amount of damage she puts out is crazy. Her full moon domain is good. The only problem is that Galbrena can't gain the extra 40% damage amplification because she doesn't have a way to give herself shield like Augusta. So keep that in mind. Another option would be Frolova. Not only is she a strong DPS, but she also has a way to buff heavy attack damage. She also does buff Havoc. That's not really going to help Galbrena at all. That's not the thing. The main thing with Frolova is that multiple of her attacks are considered echo skill damage, which means she can help build Galbrena's Aflame even more. And her Resonance Liberation can be used when she's off field, which means you can still get a lot of damage in. I've also seen people replace Shorekeeper with Cantarella because not only can she heal and buff Frolova, some of her skills are also considered echo skill damage, which will help build Galbrena's Afterflame. Another option I've seen is Lupa, not only providing the fusion damage bonus to Galbrena, but for the entire team. And even if you use Shorekeeper, it's fine. Even then, you can replace Shorekeeper with Brant, for example, because then you'd have the healing and the shields provided and have the mono fusion team still. If you have a different team that you like using, definitely let me know in the comments. Last thing I want to talk about is Galbrena's Resonance Chain, and is it worth getting multiple copies of her? S1, Heart of Defiance Ever Afterblaze. When you cast that enhanced resonance skill to go into Demon Hypostasis, each point of Afterflame gives you an additional 2% crit damage up to 80%. And while you're in Demon Hypostasis, all these attacks are immune to interruption. S2, Hellbound Dive of Fire and Abyss. The Burning Drive buff grants 350% more attack bonus. This one is nuts. S3, Hunter's Blood, Oath Rekindled. Resonance Liberation damage multiplier is increased by 130%. S4, Carry Forth This Fading Spark. When Resonators in the team cast an Echo skill, all Resonators in the team gain a 20% all attribute damage bonus for 20 seconds. This is a good general all-around buff. S5, Though Light Fades, Torment Consumes. The damage multiplier of all your Resonance skills are increased by 150%. And lastly, S6, I Remain Who I Am, Eternal My Flame. Your Demon Hypostasis gets upgraded to Eternal Hypostasis, which means the damage multiplier of all your attacks actually gets increased by 60%. And when you cast that enhanced resonance skill to go into Eternal Hypostasis now, for every 1 point of Afterflame consumed, all of these attacks gain a fusion damage amplification up to 35%. For your light spenders, S2 is a good stopping point. Getting up to S4 is good, and if you want to go all the way to S6, just know your Galbrena is going to be broken like every other S6 character. S1 is just good quality of life, more crit damage and interruption immunity, but the main thing with S2 is having that Burning Drive have a massive increase in the attack damage bonus it provides. Considering how easy it is to keep up that buff by just using certain attacks, you could pretty much have that attack bonus permanently. The only other notable things that I like is that S4 is just a general damage amplification bonus for a team. It's not specifically locked down to fusion, echo, or heavy attack damage. It can pretty much work with any character, which is nice. And then obviously S6 providing multiple damage multipliers to make all of her Forte circuit attacks hit like a truck. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my Galbrena build guide and kit breakdown. Let me know what you guys think about Galbrena in the comments. Personally, I just really liked her aesthetic, the look, the pistols, Devil May Cry vibe, the Bayonetta attacks. It's really cool. It's unfortunate that we can't take full advantage of her kit right now, but when Chi-Wan comes out later in the update, I can't wait to test him out with her. Also, as a side note, I'm doing Woowa account reviews in my Discord, so if you have screenshots or a video of your character build and you want to share it, definitely join my Discord. If you have a crazy Galbrena, I definitely want to see it. Or are you using your polls on Lupa right now or saving them for the second half of the update for Chi-Wan, obviously, or Zani? Yes, Zani is coming back. In any event, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that bell next to notifications so you don't miss out on any other Wuthering Waves content we have coming out here on the channel. If you didn't know, we live stream here on YouTube and then also over on Twitch. That link will be in the description. I typically stream Wuthering Waves whenever we have a new update, there's a new event, or a new banner is out, and usually there's always drops available as well, so if you want some extra materials, be sure to tune on into the stream. Also, if you want to join my community, hop in my Discord. That link will also be in the description. We have plenty of people talking about Wuthering Waves, other gacha games, and then plenty of other topics including gaming, tech, and anime. Lastly, if you want to help support the channel even more, you can look into becoming a member. Now, if you don't know what a membership is, it's essentially like a Twitch subscription, but it's technically cheaper. You're going to gain access to exclusive emotes, monthly badges, and the main benefit, which is getting access to all of my long form videos early. So if you would like some more information, all you have to do is press the join button next subscribe, and I'll give you a rundown with all the details you need. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been your boy. We'll catch you in the next video.